Okay. Hi, everybody. This is Arun Gala. Welcome back to my podcast, Grabbing Coffee with Arun, where I talk to everyday people that are doing interesting things. I haven't done an episode in a while since my dad passed. He passed on September 11th. Um, anyway, that was kind of a trying time for me, but I really enjoy talking to different people, and through Catapult, I meet different people, and I met an interesting fellow recently, and his name is Ivan Ramirez, and he's a waiter at a popular restaurant called Taste of Texas, and it's a steakhouse as well as they have pretty good burgers. And anyway, Ivan, welcome.
Thank you, Arun. Happy to be here. Never been on an interview on a podcast before, but I'm grateful to be deemed worthy enough of being here.
Oh, no, you're an interesting fellow. See, I just love talking to different people, Ivan, and I was just always curious about what is it like to be a waiter? Just to, you know,
It can
what are
be a
your thoughts?
lot of fun. We get to meet a lot of different kinds of people. Taste of Texas has been around for quite a while, since 1977. It's
Wow.
been in the same community since its inception. Um,
Hmm.
it's really amazing to watch what whenever two people put all their energy into the community that they value themselves and that they're a part of,
Hmm.
which is what Ed and Nina have done. Um, it really is a testament to being faithful to yourself and being faithful to the things that you find valuable.
So how long have you been there as a waiter?
I've been there about 9 years now.
Oh, you've been there a while.
Yeah, so pre-COVID, after COVID, we lost a lot of employees who got different jobs, um,
Hmm.
who moved on out of the restaurant industry. Um, Grateful for them to be able to do that. But the job itself is quite rewarding. We're in the energy corridor, so we get to see a lot of different businessmen from all over the world. Um, we get exposed to a lot of different cultures that way,
Hmm.
which for some people can be a little bit of a challenge. For me, I like to see how people interact with each other over the table, over dinner.
Right.
That's part of the reason I love working there, and it's also part of what keeps everything interesting. Now, it is a steakhouse, but
Right.
we cater to a diverse group of people. As you know, Houston is very diverse, not only in ethnicity and
Hmm.
culture, but also in income level. So we
Hmm.
do have more moderately priced items because Ed and I think it's a nice thing to be able to offer lower priced items to families with a lot of children or to people who save up all their money all year long to be able to celebrate their special occasion at Taste of Texas.
So
And
let me ask you this, Ivan. Do they, like when you wait on tables, just, just from a regular customer's point of view, do you wait on several tables or do you write stuff down or do you remember stuff and just say, okay, this table ordered this, or how does that work?
we write everything down that the customer orders. Rarely does anyone on the wait staff take an order without writing anything down. Um, we try to
That's
be as
interesting.
thorough as we can be. You go to a lot of places, you order something, the waiter's not writing anything down. Kind of gives you a sense that they, you know, first of all, just writing it down in front of the customer
Hmm.
is acknowledging number one that what they have to say is worth writing down. It's worth remembering. You're not going to forget it between here and going to the register. It's a very simple task, and it
Right.
doesn't seem like you would forget it, but in the heat of the moment, while eight different people are asking you for one thing, it's quite
Hmm.
plausible for somebody to forget what they
Right.
were just asked for. It might not seem like it, but it's a pretty high pressure job. Um,
Right.
Considering people go there to have the perfect dinner or to treat their guests to an amazing Texas steak, which has really that phrase, a Texas steak,
Hmm.
is a phrase that can be recognized worldwide. So you never know what the expectations are. Um, for somebody from New Zealand or somebody from Japan or uh, someone from the Middle East coming all the way to Taste of Texas
Wow.
to
So
come.
what are some popular dishes that you guys have there?
Hands down, the center cut fillet is the most popular entree. It's the
Hmm.
most tender steak, synonymous to filet mignon. We'll
Hmm.
put a bacon wrap on it, free of charge for you, so that's pretty neat. But really, the spectacle of the restaurant, besides the museum that we are, is the butcher
Hmm.
shop where you can. We invite every single customer to come
Hmm.
choose their steak from the butcher shop. So if you know a thing or two about steak, you can go back there with your waiter after you order and choose the exact cut you want us to grill up for you before we bring it out. Now, if you don't know anything about steak, your waiter will gladly educate you a little bit on how simple it is to choose a very
Hmm.
high quality steak.
Well, tell me, because I was looking at like there are different grades of steak, I guess, right?
There are.
So what's the popular one that people like, I guess?
The most common grades are select, choice, and prime, and they have to do with marbling. And that's a USDA program where
Hmm.
the steer is graded on its marbling after it's butchered, and
Okay.
they see how much intermuscular fat content is in the beef. So that's not to be confused with actual fat that's not interwoven into the meat. So
Hmm.
when we're talking about marbling, you're talking about those little tiny stripes of white that are in the red beef.
Hmm.
Now, when you look at a ribeye, you have actual fat and you have marbling in that cut. So
Hmm.
a ribeye is a good example to talk about to reference because it has that fat and it has marbling. Um, Now, everyone's pretty familiar with the concept of marbling and what marbling actually is. What
Hmm.
people, I feel like, aren't aware of as much or as often is how much the aging process adds to the quality of the beef. So,
I didn't know that.
yeah,
Hmm.
so all of our
So, but
steaks
they're
are wet aged about 45 to 60 days, depending on the cut. And that is 2 to 3 weeks beyond the standard that you would find in most other restaurants um, that do a wet age.
hmm. So I heard about the salad bar too, right? I mean, you guys have a salad bar that's pretty popular too.
Oh, yeah, phenomenal. Super fresh produce there. Uh, Super underrated, the salad bar. It's not the most diverse salad bar, like, it doesn't have the most options on it, but every single
Hmm.
thing in the salad bar is
Hmm.
meticulously crafted and of the utmost quality. So it's definitely some people go there just for the salad bar, believe it or not.
Yeah. And even the burgers are pretty good too. I've had their burgers before, so.
Yeah, nice thick certified Angus beef burger. Um, Now all of our steaks and beef is all certified Angus beef. This restaurant actually helped certified Angus beef become what it is today.
I didn't
There's
know that.
a really good camaraderie that they formed um, in elevating the restaurant, being able to serve that product.
So, Ivan, what's the most expensive thing on the menu? Just out of curiosity.
It's a tomahawk ribeye steak. You get a
Okay.
14-inch bone hanging off of your ribeye, and it's
Hmm.
I believe now 128 for a cut. So it's
Hmm.
definitely up there in price. It comes in at 38 ounces, so it's a
Wow.
hefty piece of meat. And every once
You
in a
can
while
share
you'll
that
get
with people,
somebody who
right?
can put one down by themselves, but usually it's an item to be split between two people.
Kind of share that with people. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. What about the drinks? Are there any special drinks or I know the
I'm happy
margaritas
you
are
asked
supposed to be
about
pretty
that
good.
because we have a few seasonal cocktails right now that are quite festive. A little bit of spice into the drinks for the season, sort of some Thanksgiving flavors and some Christmas flavors. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, really well crafted. We actually have some non-alcoholic beverages as well on the menu that are just as delicious and just as well crafted as the ones with alcohol.
Yeah. So, how many people does it take to run a restaurant like that? Uh, how many how many waiters and how many like let's say for example cooks and all that? Quite
Uh,
large, right?
oh yeah, we have quite a large staff considering all the staff operates out of one building. We don't have multiple locations across the city or across the country or anything like that.
Yeah,
It's
like
all
that
just
was
in one
smart.
location, and there are well over 200 employees. 85 to
Wow.
90 of them are waiters that are on
Hmm.
staff. Every single night, there are 30 waiters to take care of the guests. Each
Hmm.
waiter is allotted to only two or three tables, depending on the size of the tables. And
Hmm.
we serve about 1,000 or 1,200 guests on an average day.
Wow.
So you can imagine a busy day can get closer to 13, 1,400 people um, in one 24-hour cycle. So that takes a lot of personnel to keep everything clean, to keep everything tidy, to get every single steak to the right table, every single drink to the right table at the right time, as efficiently
Hmm.
as possible. So it's a pretty well-oiled machine. It's a really great put together operation. Um,
Hmm.
Cooks, we probably have about four to 4 to 9 on the line at the same time, working on either appetizer, the grill itself, the
Hmm.
fryer, and that's not to mention everyone else in the back prepping the food for the next day or for later that evening.
That's interesting. So, being a waiter, what are some challenges there? Say, for like example, you get some crazy customer that's not satisfied with what they have or what they received. How would you handle something like that?
Every once in a while, you get someone who's used to complaining and then getting their meal for free, and
Hmm.
sometimes you see that attitude or that expectation from the beginning, and it's usually easy to spot, um, but it's
Hmm.
not anything that we dwell on, and the majority of our customers are not like that. So you just take it with a grain of salt and don't really uh, pay too much mind to it. But every once in a while, you get a crabby customer who just comes in a bad mood, and it is our best effort to just win them over, turn them around, make them smile and laugh, or just leave with a full, satisfied stomach. And you can just watch their attitude change throughout the meal as you keep interacting with them. And that's what we
Hmm.
love. We just love killing them with kindness, as Nina says. Um,
Hmm.
and it works. It's not only at work, but in a day to day with strangers on the road in Houston. You
Right.
know how people can be driving. Uh,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's honestly it's a pretty rewarding part of the business itself is being able to lighten up people's moods regardless of how they come in or what expectations they might have.
Yeah, because I met Ed Hendy and Nina at Second Baptist because I went there quite a long time. So he's very active in the community and all that too. So anyway, well, is there anything else that we need to talk about that we missed on that you think would be interesting? I guess we covered everything, huh? What about the busboys? How many busboys do you guys have? Like cleaning the tables and all?
Um, Probably two. Two.
Only two for a big restaurant like that, huh?
Oh yeah.
Wonder why is that? Because it's hard, I mean, just it doesn't take that
Efficiency is
many
the name
people to
of the
clean the
game.
tables, I guess.
Sometimes the restaurant industry can be tough, especially for restaurants starting out. Now,
Hmm.
Taste of Texas is a well-established restaurant, but sometimes you want to keep your eye on labor, and make sure you're making the best for your business, the best profit, best revenue possible for your business.
Yeah, I wonder what's going to happen when Ed decides to retire or something, right? I guess I'm sure somebody will take over.
We'll see. Yeah, Lisa's pretty involved, which is her daughter, his
Yeah.
daughter.
Yeah.
Lisa Handy. She loves to be there, taking care of things
Hmm.
in the back, refining recipes, refining the food that we already serve.
That's
Not
pretty
really
cool.
redefining the wheel or anything, not really changing the whole concept of the restaurant, but just elevating each little piece to be able to be the most pleasant part of the restaurant that it can be. Now, something we didn't really touch on is the Texas History Museum that we also are. Um, the restaurant actually features the original doors to the Chapel of the Alamo as you walk into the restaurant, which is pretty
Really?
awesome. And there are several other significant items in the restaurant. One of the things
Hmm.
that gets a lot of attention is are the rifles that are along the wall, many of which are
Mm.
actual antique rifles that were used in the American Revolution or in Texas uh, fight for independence during
That's
that
cool.
era.
Yeah, I've seen some flags over there too, right?
Yeah, all the we call them the seven flags that once claimed Texas. So above the restaurant, when you get inside, you kind of look up as soon as you get in there, and you got
Hmm.
a French flag up there, a Mexican flag up there, um, the Confederate flag up there, or a variation of it. Um,
Right.
and a lot of those countries are countries that once claimed Texas to be theirs. So
Right.
Texas has always been a highly contested land, to an extent continues to be, whether cultural or geographical. It's a very interesting thing, Texas history.
Right. So one last question I got for you, Ivan, is what are your personal goals? Do you intend to start a business, or what are you planning on doing?
Yeah, so in my 9 years working at Taste of Texas, I've seen a lot of how the world works in a local level.
Hmm.
On a national level, we're just a conglomerate of bunch of local communities. So essentially, I see what happens when you double down on your community and on your customer base.
Hmm.
And in turn, for the last couple years, I've been working on a small coffee business with my girlfriend, and
Hmm.
we have 100% dedication to turning it into our full-time
Gig.
livelihood going forward. And
Hmm.
so right now, we're just booth and tent working at farmers markets, doing pop-ups for our coffee, showing off our flavors and the quality of our coffee. And we are Beautiful Soul Coffee, and you can find us at Imperial Park on
Hmm.
Saturday mornings in Sugarland because that's our community. So we want to really start from the ground up and see where it takes us. Hopefully, we land somewhere as fruitful as we imagine.
What about that farmers market on airline? Have you thought about that one, or
Oh
is
yeah,
that?
that one's awesome. That one's been around for a long time, and they have a cool little pop-up market outside. And I've
Hmm.
reached out to them a few times, but they have a coffee vendor there already. And
Oh,
so,
but you can't have another one, or what?
yeah, well, it always depends on the people running the market, whether
Right.
they'll allow another coffee vendor or not.
Hmm.
In my opinion, either way, I mean, that market, particularly the Houston Farmers Market, I think it's
Hmm.
large enough to have two coffee vendors, but they would rather just protect the coffee vendor that exists there already and
Yeah.
support their business, which makes perfect sense to me. Now, at Imperial, we do have two coffee vendors, and
Hmm.
we get to see we get to see what direct competition looks like and what it might look like down the road. So that's definitely a fun part of our business as well.
With catapult, Ivan, one thing you might want to do is like I've seen like at different races, like at Turkey Trot, the Woodlands. You might want to talk to some of these races and see if you can kind of set up your mobile unit. Because I've seen that happen too.
Yeah,
That
that'd
might
be.
increase your visibility,
Oh yeah, I would love that.
looking like. like tomorrow's turkey trot, maybe I'm sure you have to plan that in advance, and I don't know what it costs to. I'm sure the fee is not nominal or it's probably free even. So anyway, Ivan, it was very interesting talking with you. Thank you for all the information and thank you for the opportunity to learn more about Taste of Texas and learn more about you. And if you guys want to reach me, my email is grabbingcoffeewitharun@gmail.com. Thank you very much for your time, Ivan.
Of course. Thank you, Arun.
All right. Thanks for your time. Enjoy your vacation.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Bye.